And does the 5200 boys, does 5200 refer to the 5200 block of Windsor Mill Road? Yes. And you mentioned that was one of MMP's main territories. Yes, and main drug shop. I'm going to come back to the 5200 boys in a bit, but first, I want to show you some pages from Government's Exhibit SM-2, which is coming to evidence as Dawntre Johnson's Facebook account. I'm going to show you pages 44, 46, 48, 50, 52, and 54. And who's in that photo? Gotta and Bino. Can you tell what they're doing? It's like they're in the middle of the handshake. Alright, I'm going to go to 46 now, and I'm going to go to 48. Well, can you tell us what they're doing here? They're a little further into the handshake. Alright, I'm going to 48. Are they further into the handshake here? Yes. And 50, are they further into the MMP handshake there? Yeah, it's basically complete. Alright, 52. Whoops. And that's the same one. 54. So was that kind of a slideshow of the MMP handshake? Yes. And was it referred to in any way? What was it called when someone did the MMP handshake? Oh, it's called Peace in Your Homie. You mentioned the 5200 handshake. I'm going to show you a video. It's Government's Exhibit IC-137. Excuse us, we're having a little technical difficulty. As I'm sure is evident to everyone in the courtroom, the video is sideways. Can you still see it, Mr. Banks? Yes, it's a little hard to look at, but I can still see it. Alright, I'm going to keep playing it, and hopefully we'll get this figured out at some point. Who is that? That's Creams. And do you see him here in the courtroom today? Yes. Can you point him out for the record? He got the blue striped shirt on. And was he in MMP? Yes. Alright, I'm going to keep playing. Could you see what they just did with their hands? They did the 5200 handshake. And who did he just do it with? Can you see who that is? E-Money and Muggs. And can you see who's standing there now? Yeah, Bill and Nick. And were they members of MMP? Yes. And where is this video filmed, by the way? Do you recognize this area? Yeah, the BP gas station. Is this inside the store attached to the gas station? Yes, it's in, right, the inside of the actual gas station part. Objection to the leading. There's been a lot of leading. I haven't been objecting, but I'm objecting now. Alright, I'll try not to lead. I'll keep playing. Who is that, by the way? Bang out. And was he a member of MMP? Yes. We'll come back to him in a bit. What were the individuals who you just named doing in that video? They were piecing each other. Are there... I think you mentioned earlier that MMP members would greet each other with, "What's mobbing?" Uh-huh. Were there other MMP catchphrases that were used a lot? As far as the identify mobster, lingo-wise, no. Just, "What's mobbing?" Was there a way to say goodbye? Yeah. Keep your heart beating in double time. And what did that mean? Basically, I love you. I love you too. Was that specific to MMP? Yes, only us. What's the primary way that members of MMP made money? As far as I know, drugs. I don't know any mobsters off the top that had a job, including myself. And what types of drugs did members of MMP sell? It varies. Dope, coke, weed. Depends what area you in. But Windsor Mill and Forest Park, it was dope and coke. What about Gwen Oak and Liberty Heights? They sold weed up there, but mainly weed and crack. And when you say crack, is that crack cocaine? Yes. You mentioned earlier that there was one area that MMP considered to be its headquarters. Yes. And what area was that again? Windsor Mill and Forest Park. And you mentioned that there's a BP gas station there. Yes. Have you spent time at that BP gas station? Yes. Was it common for members of MMP to congregate in that area? Yes. I want to show you a few images from Google Maps. I'm going to show you Government's Exhibit Map 34. And can you tell what we're looking at here? The map of the area, the headquarters. And I'm going to show you Government's Exhibit Map 23. And what are we looking at here? That's the BP where everybody hustle. What does it mean to hustle? Sell drugs in our sense of hustling. You mentioned earlier that the number 5200 refers to the 5200 block of Windsor Mill Road, and I think you referred to the 5200 boys. What are the 5200 boys? 5200 boys is it's the neighborhood. So even if they're not actually Pirus or Bloods, they still rocking with us. They 5200 boys. Like a lot of dudes are from the neighborhood that are mobbing. So it's just really all the same. Were there some 5200 boys who weren't actually members of MMP? Yes. Were there some 5200 boys who were members of MMP? Yes. Did MMP members conduct drug transactions in this area? Yes. And can you describe what the drug operation was like in this area? The drug operation was basically a one-stop shop. 20s of crack, half and whole grams of dope. And was it mostly foot traffic or car traffic? It was car traffic. Basically a lot of out-of-towners. People coming right off the highway and come through to get heroin or to get the coke from various places all around. Did you sell drugs in that area? I did. And what drugs did you primarily sell? I sold dope mainly, but I sold coke before as well. Did MMP members ever stash drugs or guns in this area? Yes. Where were some of the places where they would stash guns and drugs? They stashed guns on the field across the street from the BP gas station, and trash cans at the BP gas station, the barbershop on the side of the BP gas station, behind it, sometimes on the other side where the stores was at, and sometimes they'd just have them in their car, in the trunk, under the seat, in the glove compartment. Did the employees at the BP gas station do anything about that? No. Why not? Do you know? I don't know if it was out of fear or just because they liked us. They said, objection, speculative, sustained. I'm going to show you Government's Exhibit IC-12. And what are we looking at here? That's Scott and Melvin at the BP gas station. And do you recognize that graffiti there? Yeah, that's the hood with the 2 M's in it for Murdaland Mafia. G&B, Get Money Boys. Were there other locations near the BP gas station where MMP members and 5200 boys would sell drugs? Parking lot down the street that used to be called the Blue Fountains. I forgot what it's called now. I'm going to show you, before you go further, Government's Exhibit Map 34. And do you see the Blue Fountain Apartments picture here? Yes, it's Gwenbrook Townhome right behind. Yeah, the Blue Fountain Apartment right behind the Gwenbrook Townhomes. And that was a location where people in the gang sold drugs. Yes. Any other locations that you know of? Tucker Lane, Shaladon, like all back in that area. Sometimes they would meet people back there. The Junction, Walbrook Junction. Who were, I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of the street. Who were the main suppliers of heroin to the members of the gang? Bowen got her. And who were the main suppliers of cocaine and crack cocaine to the gang? That would probably be Dirt and Gwen Oak, but got her too. When you sold drugs, where did you sell primarily? Primarily Windsor Mill and Forest Park, and off of my phone. What do you mean when you say off your phone? When I would meet the players or sales or customers, I would give them the number to call me. Just let me know that they want something so we don't have to keep meeting when it's hot. If they say they coming, they get off the highway, I can redirect them somewhere else or something like that. So I just sell off the phone and not always on the block. Was there a lot of customer traffic in that area? Oh yeah. And you mentioned earlier that out-of-towners would come through, I think. Is that what you said? Yes. And how would you know they were out-of-towners? Placed on their cars. They straight tell you, I'm from Virginia. I'm from Hagerstown. I'm from Frederick, Maryland. You know. Objection to any hearsay, Your Honor. That is how he got the impression. They may or may not have been accurately relating where they came from. Okay. What's the most heroin that you ever sold in one day personally? Personally, probably about close to 60 grams myself. And how much does a gram of heroin sell for in that area? In that area, $100. If it's really good dope, then it's probably $120. Your Honor, I would ask for a time frame. I'm not sure what time frame we're talking about. Sure. You said you got out of prison in 2012. Is that right? Yes. So asking you about the time period between 2012 and some of 2016, how much did a gram of dope go for? I'm sorry, a gram of heroin go for in that time period? It's the same. It never changed. It never changed.